Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. I'm headed out to the watermelon patch. Got some work to do. I'm pretty stoked about it. I want you to come along with me because I finished today the 10 days looking at 10 different principles of life that can help change the world, given by our Admiral McRaven, an ex-Navy SEAL who is one of the most decorated American soldiers. By the way, I doubt he would ever see this, but if he does, thank you so much, not just for your service to the country, but thank you for such wonderful counsel and advice. My buddy Richard Arsenault sent me the speech by Admiral McRaven where he talked about the 10 different principles to change the world and asked me what I thought about these from a biblical perspective, challenging me to give them a once through and look at them. And I've been doing that. And today is the 10th one, which is basically never ring the bell or don't give up. It's based upon the idea that Navy SEALs, there's a bell that's present while they're going through all this arduous work. And that bell is one, if they ever want to quit, they just ring the bell. You won't be a Navy SEAL, you'll be gone. But it's what you can do to get out of when the time gets tough, I guess. That's the way you get out of Navy SEAL training. You ring the bell. And I don't want to be someone who gives up. There is a very strong biblical principle here. It's the principle of endurance or perseverance. And it's rooted deep in the experience of Israel with God in the Old Testament. Moses, toward the end of his life, as he's giving those final speeches to the Israelites have been under his mentorship and tutelage for decades, over 40 years. And he's giving them his final words, salvo. And he says in Deuteronomy 31:8, something that I really want you to hear. He says, the Lord goes before you. The Lord goes before you, and he will be with you. He will not leave you. He will not forsake you. So don't be afraid and don't be discouraged. That's the root of why we can persevere. That's the reason behind why we can endure. God will be with us. And so you've got people like Paul who wrote to the Galatians, and he said, don't become weary in doing good, because at the proper time we'll reap a harvest if we don't give up, which is what brings me to the watermelon patch. You see, this has been a hot summer, and working in the watermelon patch has not been something that's been easy to do. But if I want to have these watermelons, I've got no choice but to do the necessary work out here and not grow weary in doing that work. Because I don't get watermelons overnight. We've already had several this year, don't get me wrong, but these watermelons are things that come, look at these down here. These watermelons come from time. And that's why that's why it makes a perfect metaphor for endurance for Paul. Don't become weary in what you're doing. Everything happens within its season. So the writer of Hebrews in Hebrews 12:1 says to run with perseverance and to hold fast or to stand firm. That's what running with perseverance is. Perseverance is, hupomone in the Greek, means to just stand there, to patiently wait. And if we do that, we transform the world. The key is we just keep going forward. We just stay the course. It sort of is like Martin Luther King said. He said, if I get the quote right, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, just move forward. Because we always want to continue on in this journey that God's given us. And endurance is the key. So go back to that Deuteronomy 31 verse 8 passage again, because the Lord does go before you. The Lord will be with you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. So you don't need to be afraid. You don't need to be discouraged. You just need to carry on. Persevere. Don't ring the bell. And change the world. That's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day.